Did you know that nearly 48 million Americans fall ill every year due to foodborne illnesses, and over 3,000 of them tragically lose their lives? A large portion of these victims are seniors. According to the CDC, older adults face a much higher risk because their immune systems are no longer as resilient as they once were. What's truly alarming is that many of these illnesses originate not in restaurants or food factories, but right inside your refrigerator. Yes, the very appliance you trust to keep your food safe might actually be silently transforming everyday groceries into serious health risks. Recent research reveals that improperly storing specific foods in the fridge can raise your chances of food poisoning, degrade nutritional content, and even trigger harmful chemical reactions. And the most unsettling part? Most people have no clue. If you've been casually tossing certain fruits, vegetables, or pantry staples into the fridge without a second thought, you might unknowingly be courting danger. And the Nika 1 item on this list? It's especially disturbing. Not only does it lose valuable nutrients, it can actually become toxic when chilled. So stay with us to the end. What you're about to learn could quite literally protect your health, or even save your life. Before we dive in, let us know in the comments where you're watching from, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more crucial tips like this. Food number 9, potatoes. Let's begin with a kitchen classic, potatoes. A staple. In nearly every household, most people instinctively place them in the refrigerator, assuming it keeps them fresh. But here's the shocking reality. Refrigerating potatoes can actually make them hazardous. At cold temperatures, the starches in potatoes rapidly convert into sugars. Sounds harmless? Here's the twist. When those sugar-loaded potatoes are later roasted or fried at high heat, they can produce acrylamide, a chemical compound that has been linked to cancer in animal studies and is being closely examined for its impact on humans. The bad news doesn't end there. Refrigerated potatoes also undergo textural changes, becoming grainy, mushy, and often discolored. That darkened color isn't just unappetizing, it's a sign of oxidation and nutrient degradation. Instead of the hearty, comforting side dish we all know and love, you get a sweet, soggy mess that could be toxic when cooked. If your roasted potatoes ever tasted oddly sweet or had a strange texture, your refrigerator may be to blame. The fix? Store potatoes in a cool, dark, dry place, not a cold, damp fridge. This preserves their flavor, texture, and safety. So if you've got a bag chilling in the fridge right now, pull it out before tonight's dinner turns into tomorrow's regret. Food, rate, bread. Next up is a beloved household staple, bread. Especially for seniors, bread is a go-to comfort food. But while you may think refrigerating it will prolong freshness, it actually does the opposite. The science behind it is called retrogradation, a process where the starch molecules in bread begin to crystallize when exposed to cold, and it starts almost immediately. As a result, your once soft, pillowy loaf becomes stale and crumbly far quicker than if left at room temperature. It might still look fine at first glance, but you'll taste the difference. Toast becomes tough and dry, and sandwiches lose their soft appeal. Worse still, the moisture imbalance that occurs during refrigeration and reheating creates the perfect environment for mold to thrive, especially when you bring the bread back to room temperature. And mold on bread isn't just unappealing. Some strains produce mycotoxins, toxic substances that can cause serious health issues, particularly for older adults with compromised immune systems. Want to extend your bread shelf life? The freezer is your best friend. Freezing halts both mold growth and stolling without ruining the texture. Just pre-slice your loaf and defrost slices as needed. But the fridge, that's a danger zone. Keep your bread in a sealed container or bread box at room temperature for up to a few days, and freeze any extras. Don't let a misguided storage habit turn your daily bread into a hidden health threat. Food Yoda 7 Onions. You might be surprised to see onions make this list, but refrigerating them is a surprisingly common mistake, and one that can lead to more issues than you'd expect. Onions are naturally protected by a dry, papery outer layer that helps lock in their flavor and firmness while keeping excess moisture at bay. However, placing them in a refrigerator disrupts this natural balance. The cold, humid conditions inside your fridge cause onions, especially cut ones, to absorb moisture more readily. The result? A soggy texture, altered taste, and a high risk of mold development. But that's just the beginning. Onions are incredibly pungent and release sulfur-based compounds. In the fridge, these compounds not only degrade faster, but also permeate other foods, tainting everything from your butter to your berries. Ever noticed a faint onion flavor where it definitely doesn't belong? That's not your imagination, it's odor transfer in action. Even worse, cut onion left in the fridge, even when wrapped, becomes a breeding ground for harmful bacteria. While some myths exaggerate the idea of onions absorbing toxins, it's absolutely true that moisture-rich, poorly stored onions can harbor dangerous microbes. Best practice: whole onions should be stored in a cool, dry, and well-ventilated place, like a pantry or cupboard. As for sliced onions, they should only be refrigerated in an airtight container and consumed within 1 to 2 days. Keeping whole onions in the fridge leads to nutrient loss, bacterial risk, and a fridge full of onion-scented surprises. Skip the chill and store them properly instead. Food number 6, tomatoes. Tomatoes may be the most misunderstood food when it comes to cold storage. Many people assume refrigeration keeps them fresh, but the opposite is true. The fridge is where tomatoes go to lose their flavor. Tomatoes are tropical fruits, and cold environments are their natural enemy. When exposed to refrigeration, the chilly temperature disrupts their enzyme activity and halts the ripening process, which is where their signature sweetness and flavor fully develop. Without it, you're left with a bland, watery, and mealy disappointment. And it's not just taste. Tomatoes, stored in the fridge, lose their firm bite, turning soft and rubbery. That crisp, juicy burst you expect when biting into a tomato? Gone. Worse still, refrigeration accelerates the degradation of vitamin C, one of the tomato's primary health benefits. Even the skin begins to shrivel, giving them an aged appearance, even if they're technically still fresh. If you've ever sliced a tomato only to find it bland and watery, chances are it's been sitting in the cold. The solution? Store tomatoes at room temperature, away from direct sunlight, and with the stem side facing down to preserve moisture. If they're overripe, use them immediately or cook them. Don't chill them, or you'll only hasten their decline. Food number 5, garlic. Revered for its potent flavor and incredible health benefits, garlic is often labeled a superfood. Packed with compounds like allicin, garlic supports immune function, lowers blood pressure, and even fights inflammation. But refrigerating garlic, that's one surefire way to strip it of everything that makes it powerful. Whole garlic bulbs are designed by nature to last weeks, even months, when stored in a dry, cool, and ventilated environment. But cold temperatures disrupt this preservation. Moisture in the fridge causes cloves to sprout prematurely, changing both their texture and taste. That intense flavor becomes bitter and rubbery, while the valuable allicin content deteriorates rapidly. Even more dangerous, however, is what happens when garlic is chopped, submerged in oil, and stored cold. Without proper acidification, this mixture becomes the perfect environment for Clostridium botulinum, the bacteria responsible for botulism, a rare but life-threatening illness that can cause paralysis and death. The FDA has issued clear warnings about this storage method, but many people continue to do it, unaware of the potential consequences. Here's what you should do instead. Keep whole garlic bulbs in a mesh bag or open basket in your pantry. If you need to store chopped garlic, use it quickly and only keep it in vinegar or lemon juice, not plain oil, to reduce bacterial risk. Don't let your refrigerator rob garlic of its strength or introduce a hidden danger into your meals. Food.for coffee. Yes, you read that right. Coffee earns a spot on this list, and for a surprisingly critical reason. Whether ground or whole bean, coffee is highly sensitive to moisture, light, and surrounding odors. You may believe that storing it in the fridge will keep it fresh longer, but in reality, you're setting it up for rapid decline. Coffee is hygroscopic, meaning it absorbs moisture and aromas from its environment like a sponge. Inside the fridge, surrounded by fruits, leftovers, and vegetables, coffee starts absorbing unwanted scents and flavors. The result? A dull, bitter, or bizarre-tasting brew that bears little resemblance to the aromatic cup you were hoping for. But it's not just about taste. The real threat is moisture exposure. Each time you open and close the refrigerator door, temperature fluctuations cause condensation to form on your beans or grounds. This not only leads to clumping and faster staleness, but also degrades the essential oils and antioxidants, such as chlorogenic acids, that give coffee its health benefits and aroma. Over time, this means your morning cup becomes both bland and less beneficial to your health. Even worse, damp coffee grounds can develop mold, particularly when stored in a non-airtight container. The solution? Keep coffee in an opaque, airtight container in a dark, dry cupboard at room temperature. This protects its rich flavor, aroma, and nutritional integrity, far better than any refrigerator ever could. Food number 3, honey. This one might come as a shock. Honey is often tossed into the fridge without a second thought. But doing so is one of the worst mistakes you can make with this golden superfood. Honey is one of the only natural substances in the world that doesn't spoil, thanks to its low moisture content and high acidity. Yet when refrigerated, its texture and preservation abilities are completely disrupted. Cold temperatures cause honey to crystallize rapidly, turning it into a gritty, hardened mess that's difficult to scoop or spread. You might assume this is just a cosmetic issue, but it goes deeper. Crystallization traps air, and when you open and close the jar, That trapped air introduces moisture, which is honey's greatest enemy. Moisture leads to fermentation, which gives honey a sour taste and opens the door to microbial growth, an issue that typically doesn't exist when honey is stored properly. Additionally, cold temperatures can impair the enzymes responsible for honey's natural antibacterial properties, weakening the very elements that make it a time-honored healing remedy. The right storage method: keep honey in a tightly sealed glass jar in a pantry or kitchen cabinet, away from sunlight and heat. This will maintain its smooth consistency, natural sweetness, and healing power for years. Food number 2, bananas. Bananas are among the most popular fruits worldwide, especially cherished by seniors for their potassium-rich content and easy digestibility. But putting bananas in the fridge, that's a surefire way to ruin everything that makes them beneficial. As tropical fruits, bananas thrive in warmth. When exposed to refrigeration, especially before they're fully ripe, the cold air effectively shuts down the enzymes responsible for ripening. This means they often stay hard, lack sweetness, and develop an unappetizing gray or black peel. That dark skin isn't just an eyesore, it's a warning sign of cold damage. Inside, bananas can become patchy, mushy, and sometimes develop a metallic, off-putting flavor. Worse yet, refrigeration diminishes the fruit's natural antioxidants like dopamine and catechins, which are crucial for brain health and cellular protection, especially in aging adults. And it doesn't stop there. If the banana is already overripe when placed in the fridge, the moisture that builds up inside the peel can lead to mold formation, especially around the stem. So instead of extending shelf life, you're risking spoilage and contamination. Best practice: store bananas at room temperature, ideally in a hanging fruit basket or open bowl where air can circulate freely. If they ripen too fast, peel and freeze them for smoothies or baked treats. But don't chill them. The fridge is where bananas go to lose their flavor, nutrients, and purpose. Food 1. Olive oil. Topping the list as the most dangerous food to refrigerate, especially for seniors, is olive oil. This kitchen essential, celebrated for its heart-protective properties and versatility, can actually become harmful when stored improperly. When refrigerated, olive oil undergoes solidification, a process where its natural fatty acids crystallize, causing it to turn cloudy and semi-solid. While this physical change might seem harmless, it's the repeated shifts between cold and room temperature, when you take it in and out of the fridge, that present serious health risks. Each temperature swing puts the oil's chemical structure under stress, accelerating oxidation. This breakdown not only strips olive oil of its antioxidant-rich compounds, like polyphenols, but can also lead to the formation of free radicals, which promote inflammation rather than fight it. That's especially concerning for older adults who often already struggle with joint pain, inflammation, or digestive sensitivity. Worse still, oxidized oils may contribute to long-term health issues, including an increased risk of arterial stiffness and gastrointestinal discomfort. Meanwhile, the flavor is also compromised. Chilling olive oil mutes its signature fruity, grassy, and peppery notes, diminishing the rich taste that makes it a cornerstone of the Mediterranean diet. Solidified oil is also more difficult to pour, increasing the chance of spills or accidentally overpouring, leading to unnecessary calorie intake, a concern for many seniors trying to maintain a healthy weight. The solution? Store olive oil in a dark glass bottle or metal container in a cool, dry cabinet, away from direct sunlight and heat sources like the stove. When stored properly, high-quality olive oil retains both its health benefits and full-bodied flavor for up to 2 years. Final thoughts. So there you have it. The 9 foods you should never store in the refrigerator. It might seem harmless, but how and where you store your food has a direct impact on its taste, nutritional value, and the long-term effects on your health. Here's a quick recap. Keep tropical fruits, like bananas and avocados, out of the fridge until perfectly ripe. Store potatoes and onions in cool, dark, dry places, not cold, damp ones. Bread belongs at room temperature or in the freezer, but never in the fridge. Honey should be kept in your pantry, not chilled. Coffee stays freshest in an airtight container in a dark cupboard, away from moisture. Garlic and tomatoes deserve better than a cold shelf. Treat them like the powerful natural ingredients they are. And finally, never chill your olive oil. Protect its integrity by storing it correctly. Now we want to hear from you. Have you unknowingly been refrigerating any of these items? What changes are you planning to make starting today? Drop your thoughts, questions, or aha moments in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who might be unknowingly storing their food the wrong way. Your next trip to the kitchen might just get a whole lot smarter.